As the beginning of this article says, GTA 5 will feature 3 main characters, a first for the series. But why did they do that? Apparently there's even theories about it, it's crazy. But let's dive into it. You forget 1,000 things every day. Make sure subscribing isn't one of them. As this article by Sportskeeda says, when Rockstar wrote the story for GTA 5, they wanted to include 3 protagonists. According to the art director Aaron Garbett, this is one of the earliest objectives for GTA 5. He worked directly under Rockstar North during its development. Apparently, they always intended for 3 playable characters. It was going to be the biggest game in the series, and one of the ways they accomplished this was through multiple protagonists. Although, it's not the first game to consider multiple protagonists. They intended it for GTA San Andreas, but they couldn't do it because they didn't have the technology, which is actually very interesting. Rockstar wanted to take a risk with 3 protagonists. It was a difficult undertaking for the dev team. Nonetheless, both the gameplay and the story would benefit. Due to different perspectives, GTA 5 executes heists in a more dramatic fashion. Dan Houser wanted to outdo previous games. GTA 4 had a well-received mission known as 3-Leaf Clover, which proved to be very popular. Regardless, Houser found they could do better with advanced technology. Subsequently, GTA 5 made the heists a core aspect. 3 protagonists meant players could switch into different parts. They also told an interesting story centered around a specific theme. GTA 5 mainly focuses on the pursuit of the almighty dollar. All 3 protagonists allow for a dynamic approach to storytelling. Houser once stated that GTA 5 is the most strongly plotted game in the series. This was mentioned in a 2012 article. Apparently, the dev team had concerns over it backfiring. This was an entirely new shift in the narrative structure. GTA had never done it before. The plot for GTA 5 involves multiple characters with different outlooks on life. Their paths eventually cross. Houser considered it an exciting prospect. That is true, yeah. This GameSpot article basically says the same stuff. However, it says that GTA 5 it didn't have like a novel idea. And they talk about how GTA 4 had DLCs. I mean, I guess, but like it's not the same. The literal gameplay, switching as you play, is not the exact same. I do see what they mean though, you know? But it's not, it's kind of a reach, you know? And if we check out the GameRant article, GTA 5 differentiates itself from its predecessors by featuring 3 protagonists. Though the 3 playable characters are vastly different, their paths cross in unlikely ways. They have ceaselessly fascinated gamers, and for years fans have attempted to understand what they represent. One of the prevailing theories, which seem to have some degree of evidence, is that each member of the trio represent a different common criminal element. Michael being a criminal mastermind, Franklin being a gangster, and Trevor being a psychopath. That's interesting. The interpretations of the GTA protagonists are numerous, and they do not stop at their alignments. Some have argued that the trio represent different playstyles that gamers adopt, while others have claimed that they represent players at different stages of a playthrough. Others, offering more philosophical interpretations, have proposed that they represent the 3 wise monkeys who see no evil, speak no evil, and hear no evil. Regardless of how players interpret it, Rockstar's choice to include 3 was a genius one that allowed different players to find different characters to be intrigued by. However, apparently there was this post on the forums that said that, well, if you're going to get picky, they actually came up with the idea since the first GTA. I've never played it, so I don't know. He might be right. And then this GamerInt article says that the way they approached their protagonists was the most influential. It's really, really interesting to read all this stuff, man. And then they compare it to GTA 6's Bonnie and Clyde protagonists. This was November 2012, so this was like exactly when the trailer dropped. That's crazy. They were already talking about this. Wow. And they were arguing about GTA 4 then, and the DLCs and everything. That missions will force you to switch characters. Some characters only participate in certain activities. They're really going back and forth on this. That's crazy. Talking about Resident Evil 6. It always seems like there's pushback to almost any idea. You know, new thing bad, right? It was a little disappointing that you couldn't play as one character without switching at some point, because you do have to, you know? This is from the Wikipedia. A fundamental design goal from the outset was to innovate on the series' core structure by giving players control of 3 protagonists instead of 1. And then it talks about San Andreas, but hardware restrictions made it infeasible. Having developed 2 GTA 4 expansion packs, the team wanted to base GTA 5 around 3. Well, let's see about reception. Reviewers liked the multiple lead formula, heist mission design and presentation, but some did not agree on the quality of the story and characters. CNET felt that the game encouraged players to engage with all 3. Edge found that switching players helped avoid long travel times to mission starts. Because of the switching mechanic, Game Informer noted that players are kept in the thick of the action. Eurogamer wrote that switching added a tactical element to shootouts. IGN felt the switching feature gave players more choice and made missions less predictable. Polygon likened rapid character switching during heist missions to film editing, with the players serving as editors switching rapidly to the most interesting perspective. I can relate to that one, actually. Yeah, that one. The story and characters, particularly Trevor, polarized reviewers. Some found the narrative inferior to previous Rockstar games, and cited GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. Others thought the protagonists' contrasting personalities tightened the narrative's pacing. Games runner thought the game negated the story inconsistencies and muddled morality of previous entries. Eurogamer found Trevor shallow and unconvincing, and that his eccentricities hurt the narrative and overshadowed Michael and Franklin. Joystick faulted the protagonist's perceived lack of likability as the conflict between Michael and Trevor grew. The escapist had difficulty connecting with the characters' emotions since they acted out of greed with no sense of morality, and thus gave players little reason to support them. Dude, what game do you think you're fucking playing? Okay, the re-release received critical acclaim. Of course it did. Yeah, first person was a fucking vibe, dude. First time ever, man. It was definitely immersive, and it was a different experience for sure. It's almost like you're playing it in a different perspective. You know, a different point of view. It's crazy, actually. The PS5 and Xbox Series releases received tepid responses who questioned the value proposition of a new version. While the improved visual fidelity and quicker loading times were praised, reviewers generally found the core gameplay, storytelling, and characters dated. Yeah, well, they would be, wouldn't they? Wait a second, is this how you're telling me Target? No, okay. I was gonna say Target and Kmart are not Australian, but no, apparently just those branches, I guess. They could have worded that better. I'm reading about the controversy, seeing if anything sticks out here. I mean, dude, they fucking... It really did leave a legacy. I don't think they're gonna say anything more about the characters from the Wikipedia, though. Reddit seems to think, well, different things. They like the concept of multiple protagonists, that the 3 were insanely well written. He liked it, but he'd rather for the next GTA to have 2. He really called this one. This was 4 years ago, and it's 2025, so before we really knew about GTA 6. Franklin and Michael were okay, but Trevor is what made the game great. Oh, man. I liked how they did it in 5, but I don't think it should be a staple or gimmick. I agree. It was the best edition of GTA 5. If it serves a story, yeah, I guess, yeah, if you can make it work, then yeah, but otherwise, don't just do it, you know what I mean? Kinda stupid otherwise.